गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। The question is, can PRC weather the storm? And to discuss about this is General Rajiv Narayanan, who's with me. And at the outset, let me welcome him. Rajiv, good evening.
Good evening,
And
sir. Nice to be on your show after a while.
yeah, after a while, how's everything? I hope you recovered from your bout of flu.
हाँ, bout of flu is
Good.
almost gone.
Uh,
खत्म हो गया सर. वो
yeah,
वो तो
nothing like
साइकिल होता ही है सर. Oh, wife caught it and then it had
everyone
to
gets it.
come on to me and
Yeah,
धीरे धीरे चल रहा था. So it
yeah.
is a very outset. I would like to tell the viewers. Uh, some of the countries, quite a lot of countries, Europeans पहले भी थोड़ा हिले थे, but along with India, they got into talks with the US. There are two countries who blindly put uh, counter tariffs. एक तो कनाडा है, वो तो थैंक यू है,
वो तो
वो तो थैंक यू है,
अलग केस है, वो अलग
contributes
केस
nothing to the table. But the biggest concern is PRC China. He has gone and hit. So basically, it is as if it is a cricket match going on or a football match. Okay, you put 145, I will put 125.
125 वही है.
मैंने it amounts to nothing because when you look at the background, the US imports around 440 billion worth of items from China, but exports 144 billion. What is to be understood is this 440 billion are the things which the people in America buy, and which is coming under MAGA, where he wants it to be made in the USA or any other country other than China. I'll come to that later. The 144 billion which is going to China, apart from the soya bean and other agricultural needs, are mostly items which are being sent there for use to make items to sell, which is part of this 440 billion, which is he is going to export. By adding 125% tariffs to that, that means the input resources for your industry, the prices have gone up. And the 145 plus the hidden tariffs, which I was talking about offline, that any ship, a Chinese ship, the landing charges have increased, doubled, handling charges have increased, and any item which is made in China, or made by a company, a Chinese company, could be based in Europe, could be based
Yeah,
anywhere,
wherever.
the handling charges and everything to clear the port there has been doubled. In some cases, trebled. Now, these are the hidden tariffs. Now, even if you don't add that, 145 plus 125, 270%, the prices have shot up. Now, it is not going to be competitive with items that are being made in other countries. How much will you subsidize? Sir has shown a beautiful slide. I'll later explain on that. That there is a catch to how much subsidy now the Chinese can give. Number two, Shankar has already given so many talks on that where he has explained where his economy is. It's in shambles. He has no clue how to get his economy back on track. The items on which he was, or rather the aspects or the pillars on which his economy is standing, has all collapsed. The exports have collapsed. The realty sector, almost 1/3, that has collapsed. There is no consumption. The infra, BRI, they have all become white elephants. The military and science and technology, you are trying to sponge off items within that, they don't give you back anything. Military, you have to understand, it takes in money and it gives it back when there is a war. So till there is no war, there is no return on that investment you are getting. Manufacturing in any case has gone down because exports have gone down, and he has trade surplus. He has a overcapacity in manufacturing, and the trade surplus that he had, that is what is getting targeted. That is 440 versus 144. So he actually has no clue how to sort this out. Some people say that he might do some restructuring. What restructuring will he do? In this overall decades of so-called double-digit prosperity, he did not ensure a balanced approach to fiscal management and did not look at the rural and the urban divide and did not look at the disparity in income, the vast disparities in income. Because why is there a vast disparity? Rural, there was no money. People come from rural area to come in search of work. It's not like India or any democratic country that, hello, you can go there as a person and you can work. You need a houchu. That means you
Yeah,
need a
who,
passport. Okay,
who,
you need a passport. You need a passport to go from one place to the other place to work. You don't have, not easy to get it. You don't have, then no labor laws apply to you. So you are right at the bottom of the pecking order, and that is how bulk of his labor is working. And that's where it stands. And he was giving enormous amount of subsidy, and that is what is getting hit. Now he's trying to reach out to the region. No, 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 let us do this, let us do that. Now the decades of aggressiveness, breaching of all agreements, whether it be geopolitical, whether it be economic, now are coming home to roost. Who will trust him? Because everybody understands that today you are up a gum tree, so you are coming to me. Tomorrow you come down from the gum tree, you'll start showing eyes to me.
again वो लेके आएगा अपने military बढ़ा रहा है.
Huh? So why should I even bother about you? You're going down the drain, you go down the drain. There are unconfirmed reports, because this has come on social media, that uh, just before the day before the tariffs started, there were 40 container ships, Chinese 40 container ships, they turned back. They returned 40 container ships. Just imagine the quantum of items that have come back to the Chinese ports and what a hit it's going to be.
Nothing is going to go out.
There's nothing going out. It got dumped back. What is he going to do with it? And the decline of his economy had already started in 2012, and the zero COVID policy is what hit him very badly. Why? Because for 3 years he shut shop. And that is the time, if you think back, COVID period 2021, when the talk of reshoring, de-risking, all these words started. That means to remove companies from China. Because if you keep only one hub and you shut shop, what are you going to do? But this is the grim picture as far as China is concerned. Now, as far as USA is concerned, what is he exporting? Like I said, what is needed by China for manufacturing? He is wanting MAGA. Yes, I won't say his economy is doing brilliantly, but he's not in the same boat as China. So that one thing you got to be clear. Yes, it is not growing as much, but he's not in the same boat as China. Now, by imposing counter tariffs, like I said, the Chinese are increasing the selling price, which will make it easier for him now to remove whatever factories are there in China, and this de-risking, reshoring to friendly countries, getting it back to himself, all this will open up in the coming months. I just was talking to somebody. His friend is an NRI. He's requested him that the next time he comes to USA, the latest iPhone, he said he'll send him the money from there, the latest
यहाँ से
iPhone, buy from India and take it there. Imagine when we were kids, we used to look forward to our relatives coming from there, getting us something from USA. Here he is asking him, to get the latest iPhone from India to USA and give it to him. How things change. Because its indicative is that it is cheaper in India. Second indicative is that it is going to be, this is where iPhones they will make, because the MNCs are looking at it from profit. So the days of profit that they made in China is over. Now, this is of course a big issue as far as the Communist Party and that entire leftist ecosystem is concerned. So what are the narratives now you will start hearing? Impact on globalization, that the globalization will collapse.
वो तो हो ही रहा है. वो तो every day he
They
is
will talk
talking
about
only of this.
it is
This is
not
the
going to collapse.
headline. No, this is
De-shoring
the
and de-risking does not mean globalization will get hit, but this is the narrative.
no,
Second,
every day people's daily. This is the headline.
globalization. Next narrative is it is going to affect China, US more than China.
More
China
than
can
China.
absorb. Third is that the USA will lose geopolitical trust. Why should you lose? Then the fourth one, which you will start reading, especially in the left-leaning papers and scholars who write about likely global recession and deflation. And the most common theme, which comes out, if nothing else, they have to write de-dollarization. These are some of the ones which are the narratives which will come out, which is what I'm saying. These are the toolkits which come out. Basically, what we have to understand is what is the underlying push for all this. Let's be clear. US has identified China as the primary threat to the global order. Whether the existing one or the evolving one, China is the primary threat. And the secondary threat being the Muslim radicals. These is the basis from which he wants. How is China becoming strong? Because it has a geo-economic heft. Why does it have a geo-economic heft? Because in the past, the US and the West, that is Europe, shifted the manufacturing hub to China. Ipso facto, if you have to break that economic hub, you got to get things back out from China. That China ceases to be the one and only manufacturing hub. So it doesn't have that kind of geo-economic or geopolitical heft thereafter. That, as I see, is the underlying push for this tariff war. Then once this gets into place, there will be a recalibration of the geo-economic order away from China. So I'm not saying that you, as India, you will become the hub. No, lesson from COVID. You can't put all eggs in one basket. Yes, you will become, if you play your cards correctly, you will become a major hub. And I will say indicate how the cards are being played already quietly. Yes, you will become one of the major hubs, wherein companies from the West, companies from US, companies from Taiwan, they will all start coming in and making you as one of the hubs in this Indo-Pacific region. These are indicatives of, while you're looking at the tariff war, the deals that he's keen to do with you, with Russia, look at how quietly he is increasing the stature of Saudi Arabia and Oman. The talks with Russia took place in Saudi Arabia. The talks with Iran is taking place in Oman. You're quietly raising up the stature. The Arab countries who have been part of the Abraham Accord, who are with Israel, who are with allied or partners with US, is trying to raise their stature in the region. That yes, you are with me. Why is he doing the deal with Russia? Today, China controls 90 to 95% of the rare earth elements. Okay. And the rare earth elements are the in thing that you need for all your new emerging technologies that are there, the new techs that have been fielded, the evolving technologies that will come. Everything is needed. You can't do without it. Okay. China is not the only country which has this rare earth elements. Russia, India, Australia
Australia,
also
yeah.
have, and US to some extent. Russia is number 2. Australia is number 3. We are number 4. We haven't tapped them as yet because it is not environmentally
Right,
that good.
good.
Okay, but
In
you
fact,
have,
in fact, I might add, at one point of time, it was only USA which was producing rare earths,
yes,
and they closed it and let it go to China.
China. So that is the reason. If you think anything is there and Trump and Putin are bum chums, sorry, it's the rare earth elements. So if Russia is on their side and they know that Russia is not a threat, Russia is on their side, then the dependence on China goes.
And
Then
it's
that
not only
again,
that.
that, huh, sir.
It's not only that. There's a Chinese report on this that in the next 10 years, the rare earth dominance of China will go.
It will finish.
This is
It will
China's
finish.
own assessment. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So the quietly you find the port deal which BlackRock is pushing with Hutchinson. Yes, China is crying. They are screaming blue murder. He's a traitor. But they can't do anything to that Li Xiang, the owner of
Li Ka-shing.
Hutchison.
Li
Li Ka-shing.
Ka-shing.
Why? From the time Xi Jinping came to power, he removed and sold off all his holdings in mainland China and he's invested them elsewhere. So he can't even twist him. Then what do you do? He's become so powerful now he can't even touch him because there's no investment of his within China or Hong Kong. It's outside. If China is not crying essentially on Panama Canal, a 2017 Financial Times report had given the name of the article is how China rules the waves. 70% of international maritime trade route ports were either owned by Chinese companies or Chinese companies had the controlling stakes. And most of these had Hutchison as their main stakeholder, the various companies that were there. And they controlled between 70 to 80% of world global container traffic. Now the front is backlogged. The actual family is Da Ponte family of Italy, one of the biggest shipping magnates of Europe, the Mediterranean Shipping Company. There is one TIL, I'm forgetting the full form, that controls it. They are the ones pushing the deal.
Of BlackRock.
Yes, BlackRock is the
Okay.
front. BlackRock is actually doing the deal for them.
Yeah, yeah,
Once
yeah.
the deal is done, the Da Ponte family will control the
All the
international
ports.
maritime trade route and not China.
And hey, not only that, and Meloni has gone and done a deal with Trump, and she's very
Yes,
clearly
yes,
said, "I'm
yes.
not going
They're
towards
very
China."
happy. They're very happy. Italy, it's a, though they're based in up now Switzerland. They're based in Switzerland, but they're Italian.
Italian,
That's how
yeah.
Meloni is also happy. And when China is talking of Panama, open threat by Hexet that they'll move troops into Panama.
Oh, that
And
he's
Panama
already
is,
reported. He's
the Panama
already
is also
reported to
saying
Trump.
Panama is also saying okay. Now this is the kind of pushback, aggressive pushback, quite aggressive pushback on all domains that the Chinese are facing, and they don't know what to do with it. So the howling is not of Panama. All articles will show of Panama, but understand the complete international maritime trade route will be removed from China. If China is your biggest threat, you cannot have it controlling the international maritime trade route. That all these was giving it the heft, the heft. They're targeting the very heft what China was using to aggressively posture for influence. If that is targeted, everything goes. And Xi Jinping, like I said, has added on to him all his problems by being aggressive and breaking agreements, because he never thought that somebody else would speak to him in the same language. इधर ये जबान मेरी है और कोई नहीं बात करेगा. ट्रम्प आ गया, उसका बाप उसी के लैंग्वेज में उससे बात कर रहा है. अब नाउ ही डजंट नो व्हाट टू डू. व्हाट इज द वे अहेड? Lot of these companies have played it very smart in India, and I think to a long way our Niti Aayog and the state governments and central governments would also have worked it out. These companies are going not to the metro cities or tier 1 cities.
Small cities.
They are going into tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities where they're setting up office, selecting 2-3 villages where they train the whole village on their industry. They set up their industrial parks there. The village is working there. Now, if the government has done it, this is a fabulous move. Both of us have been talking that the spread of industry should be there in the rural areas so that the income disparity is not there. Just look at it.
Yeah, I'll just give the example. Crocs has set up a factory in a place called Perambalur, which is down south, and they take the entire family. A family of 4 gets 1 lakh to work in that factory. So Crocs has already got. I think even Nike is also looking at a similar model.
Nike, Puma, Adidas,
Everyone.
they're all shifting to different states and doing things like this. What was happening is Crocs used to make the things in India, like Agra and various other places, send it to USA, and then it used to come back with the stamp here. Now what they've done is in Trichy, close to the village, they have set up their headquarters. Everything is done here, and now the next lot of Crocs that start coming in, I'm sure over a period of time you'll start seeing the cost of Crocs coming down from 6,000 to maybe 2,000-3,000 rupees, which will be affordable to a large number of people. Now, in a village, just imagine, like Sir said, family of 4, 25,000 each, 1 lakh. Cost of living is nothing. उनकी तो निकल पड़ी, उनके बच्चों को तो फर्स्ट क्लास एजुकेशन वगैरह मिल जाएगा.
Education, job.
And job is also there, education is also there. This is what is quietly happening. Why do you think China is getting so desperate to get to talk to you? अब मैं बनाता हूँ, तुम खरीद लो ये वो and all. Why? It is because of this. So my only concern is, are we fully ready? छोटा छोटा लेवल में तो हो रहा है. I would feel we should make a central committee, empowered committee, whether it be at the center, whether it be at the state. I don't know if it is made. And they should start providing the clearance and support to these companies. The Sagarmala should, center and state should sit together, make an empowered committee to make sure that the Sagarmala progresses. We know that Vizhinjam is ready, Gangavaram is ready. When will Galathia and the Vadhavan port be ready? When these deep sea ports come up, if you are supposed to be the future, a major supply chain hub, not the supply chain hub, a major supply chain hub, you should have your own deep sea ports from where all these your manufactured goods will have to go out.
Yeah, even for that matter, we could push it out from Colombo also. That's also on the cards.
Colombo is there. As of day to day, Colombo, you have Oman, Colombo, and Singapore. These are the 3 ports which are giving you that support, deep sea ports. But these you need. Yes, a certain degree you should also provide to Colombo. And if and when Bangladesh changes sides and comes and comes up with you,
You,
then you might like to provide it to them there. Otherwise, Nepal, you should be able to connect him to Gangavaram or Vadhavan also, which is near Palghar. Palghar के पास है. This is near Visakhapatnam. From there he comes there. Their goods can also go. In all this, despite all these hunky-dory things, your Chinese and the leftists and the radical Islam will create your internal and external security challenges. Just look at what Pakistan tried to do along the LOC a few days ago. They tried to do a battalion action team attack. So that kind of fingering will take place. It has to take place. So you will have to make sure that your internal security and especially your external security becomes really strong, because the way in which the Bangladesh and Pakistan are imploding, and as and when China starts imploding, these three, the at least Pakistan and China, to when they implode, they hit out. And if ISI is Bangladesh is talking to ISI, when they will implode, they will also try to do something or the other. We got to be very careful, because there are reports that what happened in Murshidabad had a lot of Bangladeshi elements. So these kind of things they will try to do, and we have our what we call henos also ready to do saber rattling and start shouting and kill them, finish them, do this, do that. You got to be careful of these things. This is not a simple thing कि उसने मेरे 5 मारे तो मैं उसके 1000 मार के आऊंगा, ये वो नहीं है. So at the end, all I will say is that this is an opportunity. So opportunity may I'll just show that my one slide which I had made.
yeah, 1 minute. Yeah.
The ones which I am showing in blue. Now, US is importing these from China. Just look at it. 56, 98% lighting, furniture, plastic items, chairs, water heaters, video monitors. I think there's a lot of it that you can poach. There's a lot of capability that we have. Why don't we make use of this? This is one opportunity you have. I have underlined batteries. We have not. This is one thing which in the medium to long term we should target. Batteries. Why should China be providing 51% of the batteries to the US? We should have our own technology for making the cells and thereafter make the batteries. The China imports semiconductor fabrication machinery, copper scrap, ethylene polymers. Let's poach this away. If you have the requisite semiconductor fabrication plants are coming up in India, let's poach this away from. Why should US import to China? Let US start importing to us, and we set it up. So, like vaccines, if this is going to hit China badly, if China comes to talk to us, we say you buy our vaccines.
But yeah.
Similarly, is the medical devices. Soybeans, I really don't know, because I don't think we grow as much soybeans. So soybeans we can leave it out, but vaccines, medical devices, we can start exporting. So these are, I'm just giving out from their import export what I could gather, that these are the kind of opportunities in the coming decade that we have. And this is an opportunity, if we grab, then it will pave the way for at least 1 to 2 centuries, I see, of growth and prosperity for our people. And if you miss it, you'll have to wait for another 1 to 2 centuries for such an opportunity to come. By then, in what shape, size you are going to be, you don't know. So, ये एक opportunity है. Don't miss the bus. This is a God-sent opportunity to us, we have the talent, we have the range, scope, and depth. But do we have the will and are we ready? That is what is my question at the end.
Yeah, I have a issue. I mean, we've explained that at the end of, say, this whole cycle, this cycle could last about, the minimum is 6 months to at least the next 5 6 years. I mean, I would say in the short term, the cycle will be about 6 months. When till you get some stability, you're going to go through some instability till then, and it will last you another 5 6 years. What will be the residual power of China, or I'd say, what will be the residual status of China? We need to look at, because that gives you an idea as to how you need to proceed from here. That is something which, if no one is attempting to talk. And why I'm saying this, like we discussed earlier, I'll show this slide again. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
You see, the slide which I've seen. This is the volume of, exports to, this blue line is the volume of exports to USA from China. And the price of that is in the red line. If you see, while the volume has increased, the price has not gone up. The price points of all this has not gone up. And the way I look at it, China is working on very thin profit margins. Now, if that starts going, and the internal problems of China, two issues come. How will China react to that, and what will be the residual akar of China?
So,
Take a wild guess at.
so main point which I would say is that China is not a thin profit margin. What they are doing is to capture a market. They are making the companies like, say, BYD also. Why do people call it a BYD bubble? Because it is being sold at much less than the cost price, actual cost price, when you work out the complete thing. That is the kind of subsidy that is being given. To get the subsidy, what other companies are also doing is they send the car to the dealer. It is shown as bought on paper. They have the RTO also in league with them. A number is given to it. And there are photographs which I have seen of graveyards of these EVs, which are just dumped there. So on paper, the car has been sold. On paper, the turnover has been given to the local, and I'm sure the local communist authorities are in cahoots with this. So on paper, everything is correct that yes, car has been sold, it has been registered. Life insurance, the car insurance has also been given, the road tax has also been given, registration has been done, but nothing has been sold actually. And you're taking the subsidy. I'm not surprised that the banks are running out of the money, because where are you taking out the money from? From here. Now you're trying to bring in, like the other day we had discussed on the 2 sessions, when they want to bring in the bonds and force the people to take the bonds. So as you're collapsing, the 2-3 questions come up, sir. The shape and size of China is going to depend on whether the Communist Party of China will hold or not. Where does the PLA go? The kind of purges that is being done, figures that are being thrown out in the social media. Of course, everything can't be believed what comes in social media, but the figures which coming out in the social media is unbelievable. But yes, Hu Wedong, who's supposed to be very close to Xi, he's been purged. Miao Hua, Admiral Miao Hua, who's been the political commissar and political works right from Xi Jinping's time in the CMC, has been sacked. So suddenly you find that there is a power struggle going on within the PLA.
Within China.
When you look in the CPC, even in the Politburo, the ministries are getting changed, which indicates towards some kind of a power struggle going on within the political party itself. When there is a power struggle like this going on, nobody has thrown the hat in the ring as yet that I will take on Xi Jinping. When that happens, in which way this country will go? Will it break apart? Will it implode? Will Tibet become independent? Xinjiang will become independent? Your Manchuria will go? What happens to Yunnan? Where will it go? Like if you look at the latest exercise, which he was telling he is going to do it for 10 days or 15 days, blockading
Taiwan and all that.
Taiwan from all sides. What kind of exercise was this? First light in the morning you go, last light you come back.
Come back. महाभारत
And
यार, महाभारत में नहीं होता आप सुबह सुबह
and
शंख बजाओ और रात को वापस आओ.
within 5 days you have called off the exercise. Then why make a song and dance of all this? This is what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. What happened? Did you have? Did you find that you had paucity of funds? Because to do the exercise, you and I know, sir, we have conducted so many exercises. It costs money. It's not so simple. It costs money to conduct an exercise. Tremendous amount of revenue expenditure is required. Are you tight? Because you're spending so much of money for new equipment that you don't have money available in revenue to be able to conduct this exercise? Or you don't trust your people? Or you were not happy with what they did? Kya hua? Why did you call off the exercise? So there is something going on within, and as it is, it's like a lead wall. You can't see anything behind that. But something disturbing is going on. It's a very disturbing trend within China. And which is the reason why I personally feel this is an opportunity for us to start poaching. And I'm sure and you already had your talks with EU. I'm told the talks are almost under finalization with UK. First target karo, Morris Garage ko le lo. Simple and straight. Morris Garage India, in any case, JSW is the major stakeholder. You take over the stakes of Morris Garage. Like that, look at what all you can do from various places and start getting them in out here and sending them to various second tier, first tier. Mein to kafi aage abhi. There is not enough space for the first tier companies and the first tier cities and the metro cities to take on. Send them like you're doing to second tier, third tier, fourth tier. Send them out to all those places and start expanding your supply chain base within India. China to tootega in the coming 5 to 6 years. It will break. It will become difficult, and it is going to be what Chiang Kai-shek long ago had felt that he wanted the KMT to take over. It will not be the KMT, but maybe the ROC may come and take over.
Let's see. That's thing. In the meanwhile, will he resort to mercantilism with his PLA? That's the question I think which many people are asked. Gunboat diplomacy.
So, like I said, the two, North and West, they have a habit whenever they have deep internal struggles, they strike out. Where is PLA going to strike out? What they have indicated is two places. One is either towards Taiwan, the second is either towards us. One of the two places he will do that to divert attention. Now, whether people call it mercantilism, whatever, this is their habit, it is ingrown in them. And I talk about immediate East also. How much what he can do is open to question. But that also will happen because ISI seems to have links, because Jamaitis have come there, so they have links with the ISI. And that is the habit of the western neighbor, that is the habit of the northern neighbor. The problem I am facing is how much of PLA is going to be with the CPC. Because the PLA is actually the CPC's military wing. And there have been two instances, one in 87 and one in 2010, where the PLA, serving PLA generals and veterans, senior veterans, had written a letter, that time to Tang Xiaoping, 2010 to Hu Jintao. That time had come for the PLA to cease to be the military wing of the Communist Party and to be the armed forces of China. But the question is that there is no constitution of China. The only constitution China has is of the Communist Party. So, but it was turned down at that time. which is indicative that there is a streak in PLA that they do not want to continue to be the military wing of a political party. So they are the only armed today, the armed forces today anywhere in the world, who are the military wing of a political party and not the armed forces
Not the nation.
of the nation. And it must be hurting them that they would like to be that. So that is why I question today that when there is such a power struggle going on within the PLA, will the PLA be with the CPC? It is within the CPC that they try to strike out. Mao did it in 62 with us. Tang Xiaoping did it in 79 and then in 80 with Vietnam. But Xi Jinping doesn't seem to be have. It appears that he doesn't have the control of the PLA. There's a power struggle going on within the PLA. Will they listen to him? Who will listen to him? And with what? If it is fractured, then can he do something? So we got to look at these things. We have to work for the worst case that the PLA will listen to him. But we got to be keeping in the back of the mind that maybe the PLA may not be entirely with PLA this with Xi Jinping this time
Region.
around. Xi Jinping this time around. Then what happens? So that is why I'm saying that there is a likelihood of implosion. It doesn't make a difference if it doesn't implode. We have to remember it was all these areas that are being claimed by Mao were originally claimed by Chiang Kai-shek. Not just the
Yeah.
land, even the maritime borders. It was 11 dash line, which Mao dropped the two in Haiphong Bay thanks to Ho Chi Minh. That time Viet Cong was pro the Chinese. So he dropped the two dashes in Haiphong and the 11 dash became 9 dash. And the
Now it's
latest
gone to 10.
13 dash.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Taken it up
We're
right
going
up
back.
to Senkaku, beyond Taiwan into near Senkaku. So it's become a 13 dash line. So why? So we don't know that even if ROC takes over mainland China, will they still lay claim to these areas? Not lay claim to these areas? What is the way ahead? We've got to be prepared for all the worst case scenarios.
Fine. Right. I think we've covered a clear track as to where we're going to head. One of the possibilities of where China is going to be, we say maybe it could happen the next 5, 6, 7 months. What I'd like to tell everyone is this. Yesterday I did a long show on what Trump's strategy and what China's repos or what's at play, as of now, without looking too much into the future. Today, purposefully, I got General Narayanan to look into the future. You see these three videos. In fact, out of the videos which I did today, I put out the one on China, and tomorrow I'm going to put out Trump's strategy because that Trump strategy is, I mean, he's elucidated certain things which I left out because for length of time. You see these three videos together, and you put them together, all of you will get an idea as to what's happening in China, right? And the indications are there. The indications are there. It might not break up. We're not saying it might break. It's going to break up definitely. It might not break up. But let me put my neck out. The chances of its recovery are poor,
Very poor.
very poor. Okay. And my guess, the bottom line or the baseline in which I'm operating and which I've been operating not now for the past 4, 5 years. If China loses 25% of its trade, export, GDP, call it what you want, irrespective of what it cooks up and shows it to the whole world, right? 25% it loses, and then China will become a normal country, okay? And it will go through, and if it loses this, there will be politically internal turmoil in that country, and then it will purge itself and come out with whatever akar it is. Final shape, we don't know. And that 25% downturn is at risk today. The first thing which General Narayanan said is very important. Very, 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 very important. I'll go back to his slide which he showed, and then I will explain it my way. Okay, because you have to hear, see two points of view. Look at this. Many of these items which China imports from USA, he has put 125% tax on it. That's the first thing, or rather tariff. So the item with these, many of these items are input items for what he's exporting here. So actually, this tariff, whatever that fellow has put, Trump 145% plus what he's put 125%, it is going to be 275%. If you go to the New York Times of today, he's shown on syringes the overall tariff is 245% as it is without hidden, plus the cost of the port fees which Jalal Narayanan has said. So it's going to be exorbitant, and there's going to be very great disruption which is going to happen. And like what he said already, which is I think is a very important thing, there's a lot of chatter coming out of China, their info war and their propaganda videos and all that. Equally, there are a lot of left liberal Chinese backed media originating from USA. I'm talking very clearly. It's originating from USA. You can make it out. So it's going to be a very turbulent time. It has just started. This is not going to end easily. That's the point which you have to take. Similarly, it's not going to be easy on us. General Narayanan has painted a thing. 3 days back, I did a similar show with Mr. Sri Iyer. You put these together and you'll get an idea as to what we need to do. But we need to get our politics together. We don't need these Murshidabad kind of exercises. We don't need, there is already, I see in Guancha, people from India writing. There are good communists here who write about India in Guancha, giving a thing. They are supposed to be
Let
defense
me let
experts.
me let me add here, sir. You won't find it in Tamil Nadu. You will not find this happening in Kerala because they have understood the economics of doing work. While they may scream blue murder with the center, whoever is in power, the economics. After all, this
Economics they
is
learn.
what is giving him so much of money, right, sir? Similarly, these companies who have come in here into Tamil Nadu and they have started doing this because along with Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, MP, I think Maharashtra, these are some of the states who have created the land banks so that if companies can come, they can immediately
They can
go.
give
The
it.
land banks are there. They can immediately go and give them. They don't get stuck with that LAR Act of buying. So those states who are up and about will be able to benefit from that. You will not find any problems coming in those states because those states will not be interested in having a problem because they'll lose the
They'll lose
companies,
the economic benefit.
economic benefits.
Okay.
So
But
that
right.
indicates that the more and more states start using this for the economic benefits of their people, going down to tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, you will automatically find that these problems don't take place because, as they say, "Na sir, a hungry man is an angry man."
Angry
If he
man,
has
yeah.
got job, he is working, he will not come out. Why will he come out for all this stone throwing and other things?
And there's going to be a concerted effort through by Pakistan and China to kneecap India. मतलब इसको घुटना तोड़ दो.
बिल्कुल
And
बिल्कुल
that the Trojan horse उसके लिए वो लंगड़ा घोड़ा बैठा है बांग्लादेश में.
बिल्कुल
ठीक है ना? So you will see problems coming from there. Already it's there. That fellow went to China. He didn't go to China to sell his land and become guardian of the sea and all. He's gone there to get the idea as to how to make problems for us. As simple as that. And China will pay him off to do this thing because he can't go anywhere और कोई है ही नहीं उसका, right? So these are the broad things which this thing, and we'll keep covering these things as we go along. So, right, I think we've had a fascinating session. Is there anything else you want to say, or should I take some
No,
questions?
that's also. We go for the
Okay,
question.
thanks. Let's start for the questions. First and foremost, Sangeet Prakasam, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. And Akshay Kumar, sir, what happens to tank episode? There was a CAG report in 2016. I'll just answer the first one. We've taken out the tank episode for a particular reason. It's not going out, it's going to come back in at the right time. We just postponed it, right? We postponed it because there's certain things which are happening actually, and if we speak something, it might be not in consonance with what should happen, right? So we said let's reform what we're thinking and align it to what the government wants. So that you see, the point is, I must tell everyone, this channel, unlike anyone else's channel, is not for fun and games, and spread nuisance and all stories and all that. No, no masala. We do it with a purpose, and what we speak is heard by people who need this kind of a talk and clarify their head. Right. It is in that context that this talk between General Narayanan and I will have it a little later. Okay, it's just that. So it's not off the table at all. Okay, let me take a few questions. Okay, I'll take this, which something which he spoke of. China and EU are playing games with the USA. China will buy European bonds so that Europe prints money and build its military, and Europe will allow Chinese BYD cars in European market. Europe will really collapse. I think let him explain. Apa to hai yaar?
Already imposed, I think, 36% tariff
Yeah,
on BYD cars, because BYD cars is a direct challenge for their own Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW. They are also going the electric way. BYD car is, like I said, he subsidizes a lot. So those tariffs are already there.
yeah. In fact, if Europe allows China to come in, Europe will collapse. Yesterday, I explained that in detail. Okay, so just forget about it. It's good to be optimistic about our country, but the reality is quite different. Today, our manufacturing sector is almost defunct. Even branded companies are getting parts from China and assembling it.
Yes, Satpalji, I'm. That is what I'm saying. That this is the opportunity that you have to build your manufacturing. We used to manufacture. We stopped manufacturing and started taking it from Chinese. Now we got to go back to our manufacturing.
Yeah, things are happening. People, let me also add to what General Narayanan is saying. I mean, all of us think Trump is a fool that he's straight away jacked this and all. There's a plan. He's done this with a plan. He's explained to you what he's done in Panama, what he's doing in Greenland, how is he doing with Russia. Tomorrow morning, I'll put that also out with my way. It's in a different language. I'm going to speak and tell what he's spoken. There's a shift. There's a global shift. This complete trade war has a heavy geopolitical bias or a
Bias.
basis. Okay, then it's not
So
foolish.
I'd explain that China is seen as the primary threat, and the
बस
radical Islam is the secondary threat.
खत्म.
That's it.
ये
Anything
दोनों
and everything.
दोनों
When you trade war, look at this in the background. Then everything
and
falls.
you yeah, and also understand, ये जो क्रिक्स प्रिक्स के बारे में बात कर रहे थे ना, चाइना, रशिया, कोरिया एंड what's this, Iran. What's happening today? Russia is sidelined. Have you heard any one sentence from China, I mean Russia, in the past 15 days? Chup, oh beta, nothing. Okay,
He wants
he's
his
doing
deal
nothing
so that all the sanctions are out and he's back into
about.
Swift.
Yeah, the
That is what he wants.
talk and the talk in Russia. I'm talking of the talk in Russia is let's de-Ukrainize ourselves so that we can get ahead with USA.
Yes.
Please
Yes.
understand, I'm not spoken of it. I'm telling you now. What has happened yesterday? Iran and USA have spoken in Oman. Okay, what General Narayanan was saying a little while back. If that goes through, sanction on Iran go, then the entire oil market of Iran is in the hands of USA, and that will put China at energy risk. Please understand. Already North Korea is wagging its tail. He's no more under full control of China. He's got better links with Russia today, and Trump has so far made already two overtures to North Korea, and China is feeling very uncomfortable about it already. So there's a bigger game plan. This trade war is just one story in this whole game which is going on. Okay, I understand that the exercises of China are called off midway because the commander was not loyal to Xi and could have ordered a strike on Taiwan to pave way for Xi's removal. Is this true?
Sir, Girdarji, I was telling, na, first light they go and last light they come back. Is that how you fight a war on Taiwan? How do you fight? So this is another narrative which is going on, that people want him to attack Taiwan and he will lose and so they will overthrow. That's a narrative. But here you see, na, so सुबह जाते थे, last night के बाद वापस आते थे, फिर सुबह जाते थे, फिर वापस आते थे. मतलब ऐसा लड़ाई तो मैंने देखा नहीं.
देखो, ये महाभारत में होता था ना, सवेरे सवेरे शंख बजाओ चले जाओ, रात को शंख बजाओ वापस आ जाओ. ये वो फौज है ये. ठीक है. ओके. Okay, Kumar's answer, how EU will behave, I think we've answered this question. Okay, let me see. Okay, thanks a lot for your views. Very eager to hear all the way through. As a common man, no way to research the contents, Jayan. Look, what we put out here is all research content. Don't worry.
You want to check back, Ravi Shankar ji? Whatever you have take out from us, just Google it. You'll get it.
Look, let me also put it this way. You see, like what I did yesterday, what I put out on China today, what I'm putting out on Trump's plan tomorrow, what I did with Mr. Shriyar, or last time what we did together. You go through those. I put out their articles. That's why I put out articles. They're all referenced. It's not that I don't know what they've written in that,
On
or we
Chinese
can't talk.
media, articles from
Media,
Chinese media.
Chinese media, they're authentic. Okay. Okay. What do you think the US, India, BTA, India, EU, BTA, I think it's FTA, will lead to more liberalization? And which sectors are going to see more opening up and global exposure? Which sectors will be further protected?
All sectors will be open. If you think sectors are not something, you will protect, something will not. The one sector which everybody in the world protects but doesn't talk about it is agriculture.
Yeah.
Protect.
You're one of the top 10 exporters in the world today. I hope you people know that. India. Okay. You're the food bank of the world today. Right? People depend. Look, yesterday I was telling someone, yesterday, day before, yeah, when we're talking about Bangladesh, when in the 3 months, you'll have onion shortage all over the world. India will be the onion surplus. Okay. In our goodwill, we always give. Oman, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and a few other countries, 6 countries, we give onions. We restrict onion export to the rest of the world, but these 6 countries which are around us, we give them onions. That's our status. Right, we have tremendous strengths. People, you export rice, you export milk. You're the biggest producer of milk in the world. I hope you people understand that. So we have tremendous strengths, and Bangladesh, I'm sure, will not get onions after this.
So the
We're going to see onion.
excluding Nepal and Bhutan, all the transshipment is stopped. So that is the end of his export. Where does he go?
Yeah. Yeah. What are the chances that the recent detent bonhomie with China will backfire? I just know they'll be back in Ladakh, AP in 4 5 years again, and then
We've
we'll
not pulled
plan.
out from there. We've not pulled out from there. Our troops are still there.
And also remember, 4 years it took him to pull out. Yeah, he had to pull out. He had no choice but to pull out. Okay. Yeah, let's take. So China was until earlier a good trade node. Their subsequent adventurism into dominating the trade routes has been their undoing. Can they exit this misadventure without loss of face?
Two, three things happened. It is not just dominating of trade routes. That dominating of trade routes, they were already dominating. The problem happened by Xi Jinping talking of a global order with Chinese characteristics, which means he would change it and everything, all roads would lead to Beijing, which was not acceptable to the US and the West. Radical Islam also became secondary. Initially, of course, they were supported by the US and the West all over the places because they started talking about global ummah of global order with Sharia characteristics. These two are a big no-no. And of course, his aggressiveness, tearing up agreements, whether it be geopolitical, military, or geo-economic, and forcing arm twisting people into various negotiations, obviously nobody will trust him. How can he exit this misadventure? गाज पड़ चुका है अभी. This trade war is not going to stop.
Yeah, out of
It's not
question.
going to stop.
Yeah, that's the thing which he asked. How long will the US trade war, China trade war last, and will Trump bow to US citizens and business pressure as costs rise?
So the whole pressure, like I said, is to bring the factories back, revive his own manufacturing base. That was his open thing. That's how jobs will come back to the US. So that will start. Yes, there will be a disruption for a couple of years. Already things are like I had mentioned a few things. Shankar had mentioned about crops. People have started shifting base from China here. I gave you the indicator iPhone. Here is the cheapest, and one of my friends, whose friend is an NRI, has requested him that when you are coming, buy the latest iPhone and give it to me. It's cheaper in India than in USA. He's going to buy it from here and send it to him. That means once all these manufacturing hubs starts coming here and you start going, that is the tariff deal that is going on between US and India. No, you kept it at 26%, but that is the negotiation which is going on. What all will you take on? What all will I take on? It should not be that we tariff each other out of existence. I am going to be dependent on you. You are going to be dependent on me. What should be our tariff so that it is affordable to the people in India and people in USA? That is the tariff. Remember that. Just don't look at trade war की सबसे तलवार निकाल के पागल की तरह उतरा बिस्तर से और तलवार लेके काटना चला गया. हाँ, it is the restructuring of the geo-economic order and the geopolitical order, and usme supply chain hub is the main thing, and that is how the trade war is. Why do you think EU came and spoke to you? Why do you think you are in talks with UK also? One after the other, you see your trade talks and other deals are going on. People from USA are coming and talking to you. Talks are going on. Please
Yeah,
don't
and
get carried away by the narratives.
you're already in a FTA with Australia. Remember that.
Yes,
That was the
already with
breakthrough.
Australia, the deal with UK is about to be done. The
To,
deal with EU is also about to be done. All their factories will come here. So now you want to negotiate your tariffs with them. Na? You should not have such high tariffs that it becomes unaffordable for them. How, then people will not shift from China. Yeah. This is the new India which is coming up. You're not protecting your markets. You're now standing that I can also make it, and let's do the deal.
okay, this fellow, why I put him up is, I think their source of information about China is Gordon Chang. I must tell
No.
you, this fellow is no, wait, this fellow is a bot. He's a Chinese bot.
Okay.
Okay. So he's trying to spread his misinformation. He came yesterday. Every second day he keeps coming.
Okay.
Okay. तो अभी तक तो पता है हमें चाइना का बॉट क्या है नहीं है. So please, those of you who are seeing this, right? He must be reading Gordon Chang. I don't.
I
Incidentally, I
don't
read
even know who
Gordon Chang.
Gordon Chang. I don't even know
No,
who
no.
Gordon Chang is.
All my sources of information are from Guancha.
I have no clue who Gordon Chai is. I'm sorry.
Okay. This is informative new announcement. US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick announced that electronics, especially semiconductors, will face new tariff within months, followed by pharmaceutical tariff possible.
वो तो होगा ना,
Okay.
टैरिफ डील सब हो
Mm.
जाएगा तो अलग अलग टाइप का टैरिफ आएगा सब जगह
Yeah.
पे.
Each nation would have to build own strengths to stand alone. Will there be any cooperation between nations even after this?
Srinivas sir, the old concept of sovereignty is over. It's dead and buried. No country is sovereign. Your dependency for various things on other countries will continue to be there. That is what globalization is all about. There is going to be interdependency that you can't do. You can't stand alone. But yes, with this interdependencies, you should have your economic and your military strength. That is when you are able to stand alone. Economics alone is not going to allow
Going
you
to
to
help.
stand.
You
So
see,
your
you're not
military
going to
also.
have you're not going to have globalization as we understood it before. You're going to have something like economic blocks of, in fact, day before yesterday, I heard Mr. Shankar speak. He said, look, we have to go towards democracies because there's complementarity in the way we do business. A contract when you sign with, say, EU or for that matter, Australia or where, it is negotiable. You might not, it might be a bad contract, but there's a court you can go to. He can come to a court here. There's a process. But in a place like China or such places, nothing. There's no contract. That contract
So
is not worth the paper it's
right,
written on.
correct. So that is where dependencies will be there, and that is where we talk of minilateralism and multilateralism.
Multilateralism. Yeah.
So you can pick and choose your partners. So there will be
Yeah.
cooperation between nations, but you will get to be able to pick and choose your partners. Okay, I will be partnering with them, and that is what multilateralism is all about, and that is what is this concept of multipolarity that we are looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. China did not have a growth strategy to increase economy. They only seem to have a trap strategy to bankrupt and control various countries. That strategy is obviously backfired.
You see, the problem with China, there is a saying in Hindi, जिस थाली में खाते हैं उसमें छेद नहीं करते. Now, Chinese economy was basically dependent on the imports being done by the US and the West. And you started showing eyes to them. And this bankruptcy thing was the BRI, where you went to poorer countries who couldn't dictate anything to you and you bankrupted them. And you also, while we talk of how the countries, the debt has increased in those countries, nobody talks of the impact of overspending in BRI on Chinese economy. When there are no returns coming from BRI, obviously the money that you have sunk in there is gone. The countries are poor, they can't pay you back. There is nothing that has come out. No wonder his economy is in shambles today. He put it that BRI is the growth for his economic growth. How will it grow when the infrastructure is not giving him any money?
Yeah.
Forget countries outside. The infrastructure, the money which he spent since
He's not
2008-9
getting.
on infrastructure within his own country is not giving him any returns. Roads leading to nowhere, ghost cities, the huge bullet train line, some 58,000. Yes, it is nice to gloat that I have 58,000 miles of bullet trains. Only one line is in the blue, which is
Profitable.
Shanghai Beijing. That's it. So what are you going to do with the rest of the lines? They
Keep going up
actually
and
had
down.
no strategy. They thought the West will keep buying it and I will keep making money. That's it.
It's not working anymore. As simple as that. Is there, sir? Yesterday you pointed out that breaking point of Chinese is very low, but now there is internet. Their internet is not breaking. Will be far up when it used to be at most. Look, partner Pratyush, let me explain to you. When I said the breaking point is low, see, Chinese have a history of taking on a lot of pain. They've gone through a lot of pain, and for whatever reason, that's a Chinese characteristics. Whether you talk of the Cultural Revolution, you talk of the Great Leap Forward, you talk of Tiananmen, you talk of even COVID, they never went up against their authority. That is the way the Communist Party has controlled the people. So in the short run, when I'm saying again, let me qualify. In the short run, now when this trade war is still playing out, and things will start going bad in China, they will be able to withstand it better than probably a democracy does. See, tomorrow if you don't have internet in India, people will start howling. But if you don't have internet in China, it doesn't matter.
That's
They
in the
will.
DNA, Pratyush. You read their
It's a
history.
DNA.
It's there
Okay.
in the DNA.
At some point, when they start breaking up, then you'll see the chaos.
And that breaking up also, if you see historically, you need an alternate, somebody who throws his hat in
Do.
the ring to say, I will overthrow him and I will come. वो नहीं है. Like when
Yeah.
Mao died, Tang Xiaoping threw his hat in the ring and he fought with, for 3 years. He fought with the Gang of Four, Mao's wife and the three others, and it's only after 79 that he was able to gain power. Now, who is going to throw the hat in the ring to counter Xi Jinping? Nobody has. There's
Nobody
nobody.
knows.
Nobody
Okay.
has done as yet, so we don't know.
China has a long room to play as every core component of any finished complete goods are in China. Also, India is in not 10 top 10 good exporters in the world. Indian export barely touching 450 billion. I think we need to tell him that we're not talking of day after tomorrow. Y'all say.
See, that is the whole issue where everything lies. Chinese get the flex because the US and the West shifted all this manufacturing hub to China. That is how the core component of finished goods are there. Now they want to take it out from there. That is what this trade war is all about. It will get redistributed, some to USA, some to us, some will go somewhere else, some will want. He also wants to see if Europe can revive themselves. So this is where it will come out and remove the hub from China.
China.
That doesn't happen overnight.
It'll
You're
take
right.
time.
It takes time. I'm not
Right.
telling that tomorrow morning everything will be here, but companies have already started coming here.
Yeah.
I gave the
That's the
example
point.
of iPhone. कभी चाइना में रिलीज होके होता था, अभी the latest iPhone is released here and
Either.
people are telling in USA buy it here and bring it there. It's cheaper now. Now that the tariff war has started, it is cheaper there. From India, it is cheaper, not from China.
Yeah. Did you hear about Niger ordering the Chinese out of their country?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
spoke yesterday only. I spoke about it. We'll do a separate episode on that soon. That's on the cards. Okay, I think we've done for the day. Well, thanks a lot. I think we've covered a lot of ground. Uh, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank General Rajiv Narayanan for
Thank you,
having
sir.
come and spoken so well. One, and clarified a lot of issues. Today, you opened out to another way of thinking, right? Uh, so if you see what I put out yesterday, what is now, and what I'm going to put out tomorrow morning on just the American strategy, these packets of 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 1 hour, all you put together, only then you'll start understanding what is happening.
Overall.
No one can be able to put on all aspects of this game within an hour. It's impossible. Okay, and everyone has his way of putting things across, but if you put all this together you'll get an idea what's happening. So like he said, don't get carried away by narratives, go by what's happening on ground, and have the confidence to say India is on a different track from here onwards, and I'm very confident of it. I go 100% with them that we are on a different track hereafter. With this, thanks a lot. Good evening and Jai Hind to all of you.
Jai, Jai, Jai Bharat.